Hello, good day, and welcome to another beautiful edition of Learn with Zion Ose. Learning is fun, learning is beautiful, learning is easy when you learn with Zion. And this channel is dedicated to tackling complex areas of English language, the use of English, and other related subjects. So sit back, relax, get a note, get a pen as we learn together. But before we get down to brass tacks, please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on the notification bell, and share with your friends and family. All right, without further ado, let's consider the topic that we have on the board today, malapropisms. What is malapropism? According to the Cambridge Dictionary, malapropism is a wrong use of a word instead of another word simply because they sound alike or are spelled similarly. So you have two words that are sounding alike or that sound alike or are spelled similarly, and you tend to use one instead of the other. For instance, I want to say hey, 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 and then there is another word which is hey. This one is the one you have when you say to make hay while sun shines, or this is the one you have with in West, like to hit the hay, and this is used to call attention. So when I use hay instead of hey, I have committed what they call malapropism. But for the sake of our examination, we're going to be looking at more complex examples of this topic. And for this video, we'll be looking at four sets, which are indoor versus indoors, discrete, demure, and demure. We'll look at sometime, and sometimes. So these four sets of words will be considered in the course of this video. So without wasting further time, let's dive in and learn together. Once again, if you have not liked this video, like, drop a comment, and there will be questions at the end of this video for you to test. Number one, indoor versus indoors. Now, there is something interesting about this first set. It is the fact that both words literally mean the same thing, and they both mean performed or happening inside. That means within a confined space. Within a confined space. For instance, I have a house, and when it happens inside of this, we either use indoor or indoors. But now that is the point of intersection. And let's quickly talk about their differences so that we don't mistake them for each other. Now, the major difference between indoor and indoors lies simply in their parts of speech. Of course, you remember what we describe as parts of speech. It is the grouping of words simply based on their functions. For instance, words that perform the function of naming are called nouns. Words that can replace or can be used instead of nouns are called pronouns. And words that describe nouns are called adjectives. Words that show action or that perform action are called verbs. And words that indicate how these verbs function intend to show time, that they modify the verb to show time, the time of the verb, to show where, the place of the verb, to show the degree, the level of the verb, to show how, to show with which instruments are called adverbs. So technically, adverbs are modifiers of the verb. So we have more examples like prepositions, etc. So the difference between indoor and indoors lies basically in their part of speech. Now, what is the difference? Now, Indoor is an adjective. An adjective. So being an adjective means that indoor is going to describe a noun. And the peculiar thing about this is that it is mostly used attributively. Attributively. So an attributive adjective is that adjective that appears before the noun. That appears before the noun. For instance, I could say a handsome boy. Handsome boy. Handsome boy. The noun being described here is boy, and the word that describes this boy, that shows the quality of the boy, is handsome. Where handsome is an adjective. Now, because this handsome appears before this noun, we'll call it attributive adjective. An attributive adjective. Of course, this guy can also move down here to serve predicatively. What is a predicate? A predicate is that slot that works with the verb that completes the information of the subject. For instance, I say the boy. The boy here is acting subjectively by the time I complete this sentence anyway. The boy here is acting subjectively. So when I say the boy is becomes the verb where we have S and V. Now, this adjective here is in the predicate slot because it comes after the subject. Remember, in our basic definition or in our basic division of a sentence, we say that the sentence has two basic parts, which are the subject and the predicate, the performer of an action, and what the performer does, or the focus of the sentence and what is said about this focus. So we have the boy is handsome, where handsome is predicative. But in either case, we understand that handsome is an adjective which describes the boy, So other examples of adjectives include a fast car, where fast describes the car, a beautiful girl, where beautiful describes the girl. We have more examples like a routine task, where routine describes the task. We have examples like let's use an uphill job, where uphill describes job. Of course, uphill means difficult. To be uphill is to be difficult, to be tiring, to be taxing. People also commit malapropism here when they use tasking instead of taxing. So let's get back before we digress too much. So indoor without the S is an adjective. I'll take that again. It's an adjective, so it describes a noun and it is used attributively. What that means, therefore, is that indoor will always appear before the noun it describes. Will always appear before the noun it describes. Indoor without the S will always appear before the noun it describes, which means to use indoor, there must be a noun coming after it. For instance, there is a game called ping pong. Ping pong. He watches his son play ping pong every Saturday. Table tennis, ping pong. Or there is chess. It is a game. There is Nigerian context. There is Ludo. It is also a game. So we have chess, we have ping pong, and we have Ludo. Now, if I bring this here, chess is a game. So I say chess is an dash game. Now, observe that game here is a noun. It is a name for an activity, for an event, So because it is a noun, this guy appearing before this space here is going to serve as a description of this word. Therefore, we are going to fill this place with an adjective, and the right adjective is indoor. So we say chess is an indoor game. An indoor game. Another example is this. Another example is this. We had an indoor party. An indoor party, which means that the party was held within a confined space, inside and not outside. So we had an indoor party, where party is a noun and this guy is a description. And being the description of the noun, we'll tag it adjective. And of course, you remember the kind of adjective that this is. It is attributive. It is attributive. It is attributive. So, to sum this up, we'll say that indoor without the S is an adjective and it appears before the noun. It is an adjective and it appears before the noun. It is an adjective and it appears before the noun. What about indoors? Indoors is an adverb. I like to define an adverb like this. Add, A-D-D, verb. An adverb is a word that adds more information to the verb, where the verb is the performer of an action or the state of that sentence, that's the state of being. For instance, I say, Kunle slept. Slept is a verb, where Kunle is the subject. Now, I want to describe this action. I want to modify this action. I want to give it more information so that it doesn't leave room for a lot of questions. For instance, there are many questions I can ask about this verb. I could say, Kunle slept why? Kunle slept how? Kunle slept when? Kunle slept where? So when I say Kunle slept yesterday, so what yesterday does here is to give additional information about this word, which is a verb. So yesterday becomes an adverb. In this case, it is an adverbial, S-V-A. So I say, Kunle slept because he was hungry. This is a clause that shows why. And of course, why gives additional information about the verb. It shows the why of the verb. Therefore, this is also an adverbial. So what we are trying to say in essence is that adverbials give further information, more information about the verb. They show place, they show manner, they show conditions, they show contentions. We're going to be looking at adverbials later in the course of our classes. We'll be looking at adverbials in details. So let's get back. Indoors with the S is an adverb and it gives more information about the verb. So indoors usually does not appear before a noun. So we don't say an indoors game. An indoors game. No, it is wrong. But we could say that chess is played. How or where or when is it played? Where in this context, we say chess is played at a particular place happening outside. But in this context, it is not describing chess, but where it is played. So we use an adverbial here. And the adverbial is going to be what? Indoors. 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 I could say the men stayed dash or space throughout the day. So we are looking at where the men stayed. We're not looking at the word that is going to describe the men, but where they stayed, which means we are also looking for what? An adverb. And the adverb here is indoors. This same rule applies to applies to outdoors and outdoor. Outdoors and outdoor. Outdoor is an adjective, while outdoors is an adverbial or an adverb. For instance, they ask you this question. What would your answer be if I asked, the party or the event happened dash? The event happened dash. It means they're asking you where the event happened. So the answer is going to be an adverb. So we'll say the event happened outdoors. But if I say football is an dash sport, is an dash sport. So we are describing sport, not where it is played. We are describing sport as a word itself. So we'll say football is an outdoor sport. So we use an adjective. I believe that is clear. But in case you have any further question, you can drop it in the comments and I will be glad to respond to them. Thank you.